Okay. Hi everyone. Tonight with the Gauntlet, we have an open community gaming weekend. So we're going to see a lot of new faces this weekend, which is great. My name is Donna. My pronouns are he/him, and I'm running this game tonight. We are playing the Great Soul Train Robbery by Cloven Pine Games. So a shout out to Alexi and Leah of Cloven Pine Games. So this is my first time playing the game, so excited to get it. Excited to get my hands on the hard copy when it arrives soon. So yeah, let's. I guess the quick pitch on this game is that everyone else is playing Desperados, who are pulling a heist on this train going straight to hell. Yeah, I guess the primer here is that you've stowed away in the caboose of the 310 to Dis. You need to make your way forward through the train to decouple the rest from the engine and get safely away with your prize. Okay, so let's go left to right with introductions for more players and their characters, and then we can jump straight in.
All right, I'll kick it off. I'm Chet. I use he, him, or they, them pronouns. This is my second time participating in a Gauntlet Community Open Gaming weekend, but I've played a couple other sessions or a couple other series on the Gauntlet calendar as well. This is my first time playing Great Soul Train Robbery. I've had the book for a little while and haven't had a chance to play it. And I'm super excited. Donna, once you get the book, it has a lot of very fun tables on it to roll on. Yeah, looking forward to it. Oh, and I'm playing Molly Byers, she, her pronouns. She's a widowed homesteader motivated by love and revenge. And I'm not sure who she's trying to get revenge on, but I suspect that'll come into play once we figure out what the prize we're trying to steal off this train is.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks. And on to Gray.
Hi, my name is Gray. I use they, them pronouns. I too have been with the Gauntlet since the previous Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend, and this is my first time playing this game. I am playing Amos Carpenter, who uses he, him pronouns. And Amos is a snake handler, having grown up in a religious group that does that. He is motivated by redemption, but also by pride.
Great stuff. And lastly, Conan.
Hi, you can call me Conan, pronounce he, him. It's first time in this community and playing this game as well. I'm playing Joaquin Mendive. Oh, something I wanted to mention. English is not my mother tongue, so if I don't make sense or if you're surprised by something I say, please ask me again and I might correct it. I'm playing Joaquin Mendive, he, him, and he is a stranger in a strange land. He's a bit of an outsider, motivated by temperance and also pride. And he's a fiddler, apparently.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, I think we set the scene. You are all inside the caboose at the back of the train, and this train is currently, at least, running through the burnt overlands. Molly, what do you see of these burnt overlands that kind of, I don't know, scares you or reminds you of home or something like this as you look out the window?
Well, our farm is not too far away from some mines. Now they were initially struck as coal mines, but at some point there came a foul reek of sulfur out of those mines, and there's there's that same reek of sulfur along these plains the train's traveling on. Noxious fumes.
Awesome. And for Amos, you and I guess maybe tell us how exactly you know this, but this train runs on bones and billows forth dusty gray clouds. I mean, what does that smell like, and how do you know this fact about the train?
Well, I've always been a bookish person, prone to studying and researching things. If I'm completely honest, that more than faith is what has kept me alive this long in the snake handling profession. So, when we got it into our heads to do this job, I did a lot of research, and there are all kinds of rumors about this train, and the one about it running on bones seems to be true. Some uncanny smell.
Okay, and finally to Joaquin, the prize you are here for, and maybe we'll open this up to the other players given the answer I rolled. The prize you're seeking here is 6 pairs of contraband angel wings. So yeah, maybe you're the person who first heard about these and came up with a plan as to what you would use them for. Maybe tell me a little bit about that.
Right. In fact, for me, it was more of a pretext to build up a crew and convince some people to come join me. I don't care so much about the prize. For me, the prize is achieving it. For me, the prize is defying death itself.
Awesome. I mean, I guess it would make a good song, right? And first-hand account. Awesome. Yeah, maybe some of your companions have come along for a specific reason. Molly, what interests you about these pair of angel wings?
Well, I don't know what Joaquin wants them for, but when he told me about them, I knew immediately. Well, that's angel wings is how you get into heaven. And if I happen to know a person who is destined for down below, but I don't want them to go there, well then clearly I gotta find them a pair of angel wings to get them back up to the place above. My late husband was involved in his own illicit dealings that eventually brought about the collapse of that mine. And I know he's done some bad things, and he's not in the good graces of St. Peter's book. But I got to get him up there one way or another.
Great stuff. And how about Amos? Why have you gotten yourself into this?
Well, being motivated by redemption, I think at some point in my past, I messed up and somebody died, and I'm hoping that these angel wings will give me a bargaining chip to try and right that wrong.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so yeah, I guess at some stage, right, you make the decision that now is the time to leave the caboose and start to move up towards the head of the train. I'm going to roll another few dice and see what prompts I get. Okay, yeah. So I think the last car that we that is right before the caboose is the bar, so the saloon on wheels. And I think there's a couple of people here drinking what looks like whiskey, but there's something very wrong about it. One of them looks up and probably is surprised to see the three of you come through the door to the caboose, which most people probably thought was uninhabited. Yeah, one of these customers has a spare glass on this table and a bottle of whiskey, of this kind of strangely noxious, sweet whiskey, and gives you, I think, maybe Molly is first through the door. What do you think?
Sure. I think as I walk through the door and see there's because of course it's a smoke-filled room. They're all, got cigarillos coming out of their mouths, and it's a hazy scene here. I make a point to say, well, the inspection, everything all checked out good. Or the couplers at the rear of the train all set up, and everything checks out. Yep. Glad we were able to do our job, our very official job.
I make a tick mark in my notebook.
So I mean, this sounds like you're lying through your teeth, right?
Yeah.
Or are you just trying to? Sorry, go ahead.
I'm trying to make, because I saw them look suspiciously when we walked into the saloon car, and I just need to throw them off the trail a little bit.
Yeah. I guess my initial read is that you're lying through your teeth, but maybe you're trying to resist opportunities for advice, to sit down with these two guys and have some whiskey. So whichever you think is.
Ooh, I think I'm going to double down on it and say, well, now that I'm off the clock, hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. And hey, that looks like an open chair. Is that meant for me? So yeah, I'm lying. I'm trying to play it off as if we were not up to anything by jumping onto the tail end of this train.
Yeah. So you think any of your aspects of your character, either your specialty or your motivations, come into play?
Not particularly grit, I wouldn't say, but I'm still so focused on the task at hand. It really is the love of my husband his immortal soul that's driving me onward.
Yeah. There's something about this this guy at the table that reminds you of your husband? Or
Oh well, my husband he had a still, so we have a quite a good selection of now I wouldn't say that he was a fine maker of spirits, but he tried his hand at it and had something of a reputation as a distiller.
Okay, awesome. So pick a second die, and you're looking for anything 3 or below. Okay, you got your 3.
There we go.
So before we forget, the first time it's come up, make sure that you increase your score.
So I'll decrease lover, or no, increase lover. Yeah.
So you were rolling with
No, I was rolling
sin.
Sorry, I was
right?
rolling sinner.
So you're increasing
I'll
sinner.
decrease lover, which should automatically.
Yeah, it should automatically do it.
Bingo.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, what does before we drag the others in, what does this look like, or how does this this guy react to Molly like sitting down and pouring herself a drink and looking like she is? This is not the worst whiskey she's ever tasted.
I'd say that he's more than a couple drinks in, probably. So he'll give me a little nod, and as after I immediately down my first shot, he'll give a nod and pour another glass, I think.
Okay. And Amos, how do you I guess maybe this guy is inviting Molly. She was first to the door, but there's other spare chairs around. How does Amos react? What's his view on this kind of stuff?
That whiskey's mighty strange. I'm not confident it isn't poisoned.
I mean, that is a prudent thing to think about on a hellbound train. So yeah, I mean, I imagine a snake handler would know their poisons, right?
It's my specialty.
Yeah. Do you want to tell me what you think is really going on with this drink, or do you think you want to roll and figure it out that way?
I'm not sure beyond that something's not right about it, so okay. I will roll for it.
So this, I mean, poison seems like, I mean, poison seems to be like more in the center by default to me. It's kind of brutal and dirty, but I don't know, maybe you see things differently. What do you think?
I don't know. It's not obvious either way to me.
Okay. Well, at the moment, the scores are the same, so it's no biggie. I think obviously Snake Handler is coming into play with your specialty on poisons. So unless you want to scar yourself, you're rolling with 2 dice.
2 works for me. All right. 1, 2.
Oh, okay. So that is not a success. So, yeah, what I mean, what do you think is more interesting? That there's something about this place. We have the smell of the bones getting burned, the kind of the smell of sulfur coming in from outside. There's a lot of other smells here. Do you think it's more interesting for Amos to make a mistake that it's not poisoned, or that there's something else he's expecting?
Yeah, I think with everything going on, and Amos is sort of on edge, he calls it wrong and picks up the cup and swishes around and says, "This is poison." Just throws the cup on the ground, which I assume does not make the other people in the car very happy.
Yeah.
Did you knock the glass out of my hand right before I was about to take a sip of it?
Yeah, and I think in kind of it's not a crowded bar, right? There's two guys here and maybe the barman, or someone who's tending bar at least, and the guy just smashed this cup off his table, and he stands up and he is like ready for a fight. I mean, I have to assume Joaquin, motivated by temperance, was probably dubious and not engaging in this at all. What do you think?
That's right. He wasn't until this happened, until there was the call about poison. So he would go to the man that was offering the drink, grab him from the collar, and say, "Hey, amigo, you have a problem with us?"
And he bristles, but I think he's a little bit unsteady at your kind of quick action. And hey man, you just spilled my whiskey. I paid for that.
It was poison. You were poison, friends.
You saw me drinking. I wasn't poisoning nobody.
That filth is poison.
So, yeah. I mean, do you think you're just trying to intimidate him to like stand off, or are you just trying to convince him that temperance is the way forward? Brother?
Yeah, I think the second.
Okay,
option.
awesome. So,
I mean, I'm not here preaching, right? I'm just saying, okay. I want to either intimidate to either escalate the situation or diffuse it, but okay. I'm not trying to really convince him of anything.
Yeah,
just want to move on.
So, I mean, in terms of do you want to be rolling with lover or sinner? Basically, do you want to be taking the kind of high moral ground, or do you want to be kind of just standing him down?
Intimidating.
Okay, great. And is this is this like a pride thing? You being strong enough to resist alcohol. He, is slightly different, right?
I guess it would be either temperance or pride. I mean, I'm judging him for like drinking, which would be temperance, and I'm also tapping on pride because he has been trying to poison my friend. So
okay. So yeah, I mean, it's 2 dice either way. So you get one die if you call on any of your specialties or motivations. Okay. So yeah, roll 2 dice, and that's.
So just to be clear, I roll 2d6 like I am doing now.
Yeah, and then you're looking for either of them to be 3 or lower. So the score you're rolling against is sinner, and you're looking for 3 or lower. Okay.
Check. Got.
Okay. So. Yeah. So I guess you convince him maybe, or maybe he's just a little bit confused by this kind of very bizarre state of affairs. How does he react to you? Like, how do you cow him into, giving up his aggravation?
I think that he sees that sees that we are three and he's just one, and he picks up the bottle from the floor that is still spilling the liquid, and just walks away out of the cart.
Okay, awesome. And I think the bartender is cleaning glasses as is contractually mandated in all of these kind of scenes, and they look across at you and kind of shakes their head like whatever, and I think behind the bar there's only that type of whiskey, right? There's only like dozens of bottles that are exactly like this, and they all are giving you all the same kind of feel that there's something not quite right there. Obviously you can't kind of smell it through the bottles or anything, but maybe it's just spreading all over the floor now due to the spill, and it's everywhere. That kind of sickly sweet smell is getting everywhere.
So quick question, do I increase the value?
Yeah, so you're going to bump center up to 4, and so
okay.
the way to do that is to lower your lover score, because it'll
okay.
It should if you undo a couple of steps, if you overrode it, it'll so now it should be.
Thank you.
Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. So yeah, I guess you're moving on through the train. Yeah, I think we're coming up to the hour, so we might take a break. But before you leave this, is there like any thoughts going through your head? So let's go around and get a quick kind of state of mind from each of you in turn. So let's start with Molly again.
Well, I thought that Amos there didn't really need to go so far as wasting some fine whiskey. I don't know what he was on about. And our friend Joaquin there, while he may have his own predilections one way or another, it doesn't mean he needs to impose such decisions on other people. Now I've been known to have a wee dram every now and again, but that doesn't mean that I'm a terrible person, as it were. Now I may be in with these sorts for right now, but as soon as we get these wings and get our tails out of here, then I think it's best we part ways.
Well, thank goodness I realized in time how unsafe this drink you were attempting to drink was. I enjoy a good nightcap as much as the next man, but you have to be careful in these demonic situations. One wrong step and could spell doom for all of us. I'm not gonna lose anyone again.
Since we have gone over the bar cart, there should be no more distractions. Now we have our objective ahead of us. The path is clear.
Okay, awesome. So let's take a break. I'm gonna pause the recording. Okay, so we're back and on to our next carriage. So yeah, keeping on theme, I've rolled for a dining car. So yeah, I think we have a long carriage of dining tables. with people, most of them. So I think maybe let's start with Amos. What are people eating here? Is this like a sumptuous feast, or is this like a terrible kind of degrading meal, or something in between?
So when you first look at it, it looks like the most beautiful, amazing, lavish feast. There's all kinds of roast meats and glasses of wine that look normal, and beautiful vegetables. But as soon as you look away out of the corner of your eye, all of the food looks rotted and fly covered.
And like, how do you react when you see that?
I sort of recoil a bit and sort of avoid coming too close to it.
Awesome. And Joaquin, I think maybe there's some entertainment going on here, right? There's a fiddler, or maybe there's some kind of music box. What music? I mean, describe what it is, maybe, and what kind of music it is, and how it reminds you of home, or what you used to do.
Okay, they are. There is a woman who is dancing, kind of like sort of tap dancing, so making noise with her feet as well. And there are some people clapping and making some kind of like a cappella music, or some songs, some tunes. And maybe there's a guitar as well. Yeah, there's also a guitar. And yeah, that reminds Joaquin of his roots and how he became a wanted man back home, and that's why he had to leave. And he became from being a wanted man to being an outsider.
And do you think you recognize any of these musicians? Are these people from your past who dragged you towards damnation?
Absolutely. The dancer herself is the. Sorry, can I introduce like backstories and characters and stuff?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's the lady. She's why he's an outsider. She's why he's wanted. She was the daughter of the mayor of the little town. That they were in love, and but that love was forbidden. And she eventually decided to basically tell her dad about Joaquin, because she was going to get married to a very wealthy man, and she chose a wealthy man over her love.
Do we have a name for her?
Yes, Rosa.
And how does seeing her again in this setting make you feel?
He is, until now, he was very temperate. He was very focused and clear about the objective, and he didn't care about anything else. And after seeing her, these emotions, other than hatred and rage and just wanted to destroy everything, appeared, and he remembered the feeling of being around her, and he's just very, very impressed with these emotions.
awesome. And Molly, yeah, I want to maybe I want to lean into that a little bit more. I wonder if you're going to see someone who either evokes love or revenge in your heart right now.
Well, like I said, there's a group of folks around this dancer here, clapping rhythmically along with the percussive dance. But there's one person sitting off in the corner who's not clapping and has a hat pulled down with the brim low over his eyes. But I could tell from that scarred jaw exactly who it is. That's the foreman of the mine that abutted our land. He would, there were tales that he would run men ragged working in the mine. Several of those poor fellows, my husband and I, helped nurse back to health. And that's what put my husband in mind to seek out some form of justice. But I know that let's see. What are we gonna call him? Let's call him Black John Onassis. There we go. Black John Onassis had a hand in my husband's demise.
So I guess he would have, pushed you over the edge, made you desperate enough to do the things you had to do.
Absolutely.
Okay. And maybe Amos, seeing as you're the only one without hooks on here, how do you see the others' reactions develop as you start to make your way down this train carriage? How do you know things are going to spiral out of control here?
So I think I can tell the moment when they see these people from their past, because both of my companions just stop and their eyes are drawn to the side. And I try to get their attention, like, remember, we need to go, but it's like they can't even hear me.
And I think the way you describe the room is like when you're not paying attention to the food, right? The kind of corruption inside it becomes more active, maybe. And I think now, like, all eyes are on this kind of this nexus of grief and anger and vengeance, and you kind of see all of the food as the rest of the patrons are looking at this as well. The food starts to almost take on a life of its own. The kind of corruption starts to boil over as no one is paying attention to it. Joaquin, do you want to? How do you react when Rosa notices you walk towards her, and maybe she smiles at you and starts to dance her way over to you as well?
I guess it's in the middle of a song, so she won't engage in conversation. I try to read her expression, and I guess that she is kind of happy and maybe kind of like seducing a bit. And she would look at Joaquin with those eyes that he would remember for all those years back. And Joaquin is still frozen in place, absorbing all this beauty and all these emotions. If you want me to drive the scene forward, please let me know. But I think that until she finishes, or I don't know if you want to play her, what she would say or do, or...
Yeah, so I mean, I think like the music is going on and she's dancing, but you can still converse. There's we're following cinematic rules here.
In that case, she takes his hand and pulls him into the dance, as she knows that he can dance, and they would dance back then, all those years ago, and they would start dancing a very elaborate tango, and within, like in the middle of the tango, they would exchange some short phrases. What are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. You lived. Joaquin would say, you chose a happy, comfortable life. What are you doing in the train to hell?
So yeah, that's I'm just looking at your suggestion in the chat. I think that is really good. Let's. How do you feel about that, Conan? To tie these two NPCs together.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
That Black John Onassis is the rich guy that Rosa left you for.
Absolutely.
Messy as hell. So she explains, I'm not on a one-way ticket. Are you on a one-way ticket, Joaquin?
Ever since I left that town, ever since I left you, I'm in one-way ticket to hell.
Well, that makes me so sad, Joaquin. I'll be sorry to see you get what you don't deserve. You were better than that.
I already didn't get what I deserved, or what I wanted. So there's nothing else for me.
Okay, let's switch over to Molly. As you lay eyes on Black John Onassis, being very grizzled and mean in the corner.
Yeah, when I recognized that mean SOB, I feel a flush of adrenaline come over me, because I knew this man was bound for hell, but I did not expect that I'd run into him now.
He thought he had many more years on this earth, or in the earth you've left behind, before he met his maker. You gonna walk up to him, or I think he might notice you because this is a whole scene in front of him, right? So he tips his hat, the brim of his hat up, and looks at
Yeah,
you with
it's
his.
like when it's like this is a festive event. There's this feast, veritable feast on the tables that yeah, there is something odd about that, but I'm don't really have that in mind as our eyes meet and we stare daggers at each other from across the room. So I think I'm gonna walk over to him, and I think I'm gonna check to make sure that I have my my little Derringer pistol tucked into my waistband.
Why, Missy Byers? I didn't think you'd be bound for hell with your bleeding heart and all.
Well, I think that every soul has a little bit of darkness to them, and sometimes that might cloud out the light. Now, I wouldn't say that your soul has a little bit of darkness to it, but perhaps it is entirely black.
And I thought they called me a Black John because of my sunny disposition.
And what are you doing on this train?
I hear there's a lot of people digging sulfur in hell who need some proper motivation. So I'm aiming to four man a crew down here too.
Yeah, this is where you belong. Great opportunities for someone like you. Yeah. Well, what do you where's your stop on this line then?
Oh, I don't know. I'll go where the boss man sends me.
Yeah, you have a rapport with the dark one then? I wouldn't put it past someone like you.
Well, I'm a professional. I don't complain. I don't bellyache. I don't do stupid things and get myself killed. Like a certain Mr. Byers would have.
At that, Molly puts her hand on the grip of her pistol. I've not played this before.
Sorry, Zoom just kicked me out there in the middle of your confrontation. Can you hear me okay?
Molly grits her teeth with her hand on her Derringer. Says, "What do you know about my husband's death?" She's always had her suspicions, and she can leap to conclusions if she wants, but she wants to hear it from the mouth of this.
Yeah. So I mean, I think he scoffs at your high moral ground, and I think he stands up out of his seat and says, I just did what was right for the owners. We needed to get our profits up.
I think that Molly realizes that since Black John has something of a place on this train, let's say, and a possible position of some importance, he might be able to help us move along a little bit more smoothly. And I think as much as she wants to end his travels right here, I think the better thing for all of our crew is for her to get him to comply.
Okay, so are you going to try to convince him to like give you aid on your quest, or like force him into it?
I think it's going to be by force.
Okay.
I think it's going to be by force. I think that what she's going to do is step up real close to him, and he has a stink of sulfur coming off his mouth as well, and puts his hold-up pistol right onto his breastbone and says, yeah, Black John Onassis, I should end you right here and right now for what you've done to my husband and what you've done to so many others. But I think that you need to help us get a little further along in this train, since people seem to recognize you around here.
Yeah, so I mean, this seems like, you know, an act of brutality to threaten murder to get what you want, right?
Absolutely.
And also motivated by revenge, at the very least.
Motivated by revenge, 100%.
Yeah. So I guess that's 2 dice, unless you're sorry. We should say it's 2 dice unless you're gonna scar to give yourself another edge.
I think I want to. I do want this to happen, so I'm going to, in a little bit of desperation, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to fire the pistol. I'm going to fire the pistol, not at him. I'm going to fire it up into the ceiling. There we go. I'll fire it just to show him I mean business. And I think that the casing, that's not how a Derringer pistol works, but let's just say some hot metal comes off of this in some fashion and leaves a burn across my cheek.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be some, I don't know, some hot gas expelled from the barrel or chamber, you know, and maybe it burns, right? Okay. So you're rolling 3 dice. Okay. and you're looking for 4s or below. Okay.
2 4s or two successes.
2 successes, yeah. I'm going to cut back to the others before the gun shot rings out and kind of maybe dampens any of the other moods.
Yeah.
Amos, what are you up to? Whose back have you got?
I think, Molly looks in control of that situation. I am going to try and extract Joaquin from this entanglement.
And like, how do you interpose yourself or draw him away from Rosa?
I think as they come tangoing down the center aisle of this dining car, I sort of step out into the way and sort of grab Joaquin's arm and say, may I get in?
Excuse me?
Joaquin, I need you to snap out of it. We have a job to do here.
Joaquin steps quickly back, pulled by Amos, and Rosa continues dancing. Joaquin goes, "Your plans have changed. Oh, sorry. The plans have changed. I know that lady. She's important to me."
Listen, I understand, but we can't get distracted or we're not going to be able to accomplish our mission. And I'm sorry, if she's on this train, she's already lost.
No, she's not lost. If we convince her to come with us. There is room for somebody else. She knows her ways.
All right. Yeah. That's a good idea. Let's see if we can get her to help us. But we need to move.
Maybe that's when the shot happens?
Yeah, if we think this is dramatic enough, the shot rings out and Rosa looks over at the corner, and I think all she can see is Molly's hand holding the derringer, and the cordite smoke coming out of the barrel, and she is standing in front of Black John Onassis, her husband, right? Although till that does his part, who knows how that works. And yeah, I think she looks back at you, and maybe she's ready to be convinced. I think this would require a roll. So yeah, so the reminder here that I'll make is that if you want to, you have 2 options to move your stats if you don't like where you're at, right? Which is to dissent, to have a flashback showing your vices, or sacrifice to make a costly sacrifice for another soul before you roll. So what do you think?
Sorry, who are you referring to?
For
Me
you,
or
Conan. So how are you going to try to convince Rosa to help you? Is it like through love, through selfless acts, or dirty deeds?
Let me maybe role play, and then you can decide, or maybe we will see what happens. Is that okay? Well,
your scores are different now. So it's like lover is 2 and sinner is 4. So it probably makes a big difference to you in terms of how you're going to approach it. So you know, if you're rolling
okay.
on lover, you're looking for your dice result to be a 1 or a 2, whereas with a sinner, anything from 1 to 4 will be a success.
Okay, I will. So can I say what Joaquin would say, and then we see if it is one or the other? I think that Joaquin, after hearing the shot and seeing the situation and seeing Rosa maybe shout, I would go to her and whisper on her ear, "You know that there is no such thing as return tickets to hell. You have been fooled. There is no coming back. Although there is a way, come with me. Come with us. We know that I think that he would just explain everything. There is a cargo. There are angel wings. We can get hold of them and go to heaven together."
Yeah, sounds like
lover
lover to me. You're trying to make a real connection. I guess the other options you have to like bolster your hand are to you know, rely on a specialty. So like your fast talking maybe, or temperance or pride. I mean, pride may be, you know, that this is your plan and it's awesome and it's going to work and all that. And then your other option obviously is to scar yourself to get an extra die. And I guess we saw with Molly that this was like a physical effect, but you know, it can be emotional as well, whatever makes the most sense to you.
Okay. It's hard for me to think, actually. If any of you has any idea, go ahead. Otherwise, I would just roll as it is, because I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think fast talking is probably a good fit for an extra die on your specialty, because you know you're explaining to her in the heat of the moment that you have a plan to get her out of this desperate situation. So I guess you can
that's
roll
2 die?
2 dice, yeah.
That's 1 and 4.
There's a 1, yeah. So you know, I think you know, she looks over at Black John Onassis, and then she says something like, "Oh, finally, I'll be free of him." And you know, she grabs your hand and like not quite runs, but like moves up the train in the direction you're going with you. And I think she looks at Amos as well, like, you know, maybe with a dismissive hair flick to say, you know, you're never cutting in to get a dance from me. Okay.
Do I increase my lover or do I decrease my lover?
Yeah, so you increase your lover now. You go back to 3 on lover, and that will adjust your sinner as well. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's cut back to the singed, burnt Molly Byers. And yeah, you got a success on that roll. So Black John Onassis is giving you the goods to help you on your mission. You know, he sees how serious you are. He knows that Derringer at this range packs a kick, and there's 2 barrels, right? Or maybe 4. There's more than 1 barrel or more than one round in this gun. So he knows the next one is going through his heart. Yeah, so I think he's going to give you something or tell you something that will get you out of trouble or maybe get you safely past an obstacle. One of the other souls aboard is the Pinkertons. earning guards with 3-headed hellhounds on leashes. That seems like an obstacle. So I think he gives you like the password for the day to get by them. How does that sound?
Sounds perfect, especially the Pinkertons, notorious.
Yeah, and the Pinkertons being what they are, must have, like, not that they would have only busted unions, but they would have busted any kind of workers organization back in the day. So maybe they have a history with Molly's husband too, right? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, the Pinkertons were employed by the Onassis Mining Corporation to eliminate certain worker unrest by whatever means necessary.
Yeah, for sure.
So it makes sense that Black John knows the passphrase.
And maybe the fact that they're working for Lucifer or whoever is the conductor of this train just makes that make even more sense than usual. Okay. So yeah, he gives you that passcode and sits down, relieved that he is still alive for now, and you maybe follow. I guess Joaquin is leading Rosa, and then Amos to the next carriage. Any last thoughts as you leave this? And I think that the rest of the diners have like returned to their sumptuous meals, right? As this drama dies down. Joaquin, any kind of last thoughts from you, or kind of have you kind of eyes only or attention only on Rosa right now?
Yeah, I think that nothing else to add.
And how about Amos?
I'm following them. I'm eager to get the job done.
Okay, cool. So let me see what the dice say the next card is going to be. Okay. Yeah, okay, so this next one is a hopper car full of fuel. So this is fuel that's being used for the engine, and actually on the other Souls Aboard tab, there's a dust devil extracting fuel for the train. So yeah, I think there's one of these kind of workers shoveling bones from the bunkers that are holding them all into these kind of big sacks. And I don't know, as you kind of clamber across this, you can kind of see into the bunkers. I wonder what kind of horrors you see in there, because shovels of bones are coming out, but maybe there's something much darker within. Amos, what do you see? What horrors do you see inside there?
I think, as I catch a glimpse inside, I see new skeletons arriving. in this pile of human bones, and with each skeleton, I catch a glimpse of the moment of their death.
Wow. So I guess are the people on board this train are the souls, and their kind of skeletal remains are the fuel that's driving them towards hell. Okay, there's a whole lot of metaphor there. And Molly, I guess I'm wondering, like, what kind of protection, like physical or spiritual, do you see these dust devils who are shoveling the bones take to kind of safeguard themselves?
I think that with all of these these bones and coming in, and with the decaying rags, the tattered rags, whatever these poor people were buried in, turning into dust. I think that they are all wearing bandanas over their faces to keep them from inhaling this dust that is given off, that of course is flammable when combined with certain other alchemical agents, and it contains a mighty amount of unholy energy to drive this train forward. And they also are wearing thick leather gloves and duster coats. Because there's also, they're not only handling these bones, but they're also handling the other components of the fuel involved. Let's say just sulfuric rocks. That would corrode your hands. And now, like, who's to say? I think that as they're shoveling the fuel into these containers to cart it up to the engine, you can sometimes see a bandana flutter a little bit, and underneath you see that their flesh has been corroded away, and there are only strings of flesh holding their jaws together.
Nice. Yeah, and for Joaquin, you're racing ahead. You hear the fluttering of wings coming in. Someone is picking up fuel to bring it to the engine. What manner of creature is about to land to pick up a bag of fuel?
It's I mean, it would look like, or it's using the function of a conveyor belt, but it's actually a big centipede that rolls through, and like with each of the sectors, it's just picking some bag and like moves it like a conveyor belt. but it's clearly insectoid and very disgusting, and like alive or undead.
So yeah, I think like all of these little kind of tiny handles and protrusions and like gaps at the top of the train now make perfect sense. This is like where this centipede creature just rolls along, picking things up. And yeah, maybe there's something else. Like maybe that you get the sickly sweet smell of that whiskey kind of now coming off this centipede thing. Maybe there's something more icky than you previously thought. Maybe not poison, but maybe something kind of disgusting. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think one of the Dust Devils takes a break, and you see him like fasten his bandana down tighter against it, because maybe they kind of have an inkling of what's going on with them, and they just don't want other people to see it. Yeah, I think Joaquin, he'll maybe step out of the way of you and Rosa, but it's kind of obvious that he has questions like, what are you doing going through here, or are you mad? Something like this is obviously, those questions are flitting across his eyes. Are you stopping, or are you gonna continue to rush on?
I guess I will try to go and just rush on.
Okay.
Not pay attention, or maybe even shove the person. I'll try to shove the person to the side.
Okay. And maybe as unless you the others want to stop, maybe as Amos and Molly pass, you kind of hear him grunt to one of the other Dust Devils, "We'll get their bones soon enough, don't you worry." Okay. I'm just looking at the time. We've got 5 to the hour. We take another 5-minute break. Yeah.
You were frozen for a second.
Oh, sorry. How about we take another 5-minute break now, because we're coming up to the hour. Okay. So I'll see you back here in 5. Record. Okay, so we are back out of the fuel car and the literal nightmare fuel. Although a different kind of a nightmare fuel, because I rolled for the next carriage, and it's going to be a sleeper car. Yeah, I think we have, maybe not a like a luxury, transcontinental rail car, sleeper car, but a lot of people sleeping in hammocks and whatever, a big mix. And I think you're moving through, and I think the other thing is like, this is a long car. The others were quite short, but this seems to go on forever. And you pass a few sleepers and nothing seems strange, but then you kind of slowly maybe get a sense that a lot of these dreamers are sleeping, and some of those a lot of these sleepers are dreaming, and some of those dreams are nightmares. And you can kind of maybe see some signs that kind of soul energy is doing something. It's like the sleeper car is drawing those dreams out of people. So yeah, I wanna like paint a picture of some of these sleepers. So Molly, yeah, one of these sleepers, draws your attention. What are they like, and what kind of nightmare or dream are they having?
I think I am walking. I see, or I hear someone coughing fitfully over in one of those berths, and there's not much light, but there's enough to see that this person's face is covered in coal dust. And they're turning fitfully and just coughing their lungs out. It's like a wet, mucusy sort of cough, as if they've got something down in their lungs that they're never going to get out, no matter how much they try.
And I guess the kind of double barrel question is, what kind of dream or nightmare are they having? Like, how do you know? Is this a familiar dream to you from the mining days?
This is a familiar dream in that I've seen my husband have that same dream, and I remember he would wake up coughing his lungs out, covered in a cold sweat, and he would always talk about that he dreamed he was down deep in the mine, and the walls were closing in closer and closer, and he kept trying to get back up the mine shaft, but it was further and further away, and the walls were closing in, and he was eventually was digging with his hands, trying to get close to the surface, but it was never within reach.
So do you do anything to soothe this person's nightmare, or do you pass on?
Whenever my husband would wake up with these dreams, I would and I'll do this. I'll do the same thing that would help my husband calm down from these dreams. And I pull out a handkerchief, and I lean over to Amos and say, "Hey, can you tip me out some water out of your canteen?"
Of course.
And soak this handkerchief and wring it out, and put it on this poor soul's forehead, and clean off his face a little bit, and let the put the handkerchief on his forehead to help cool him down a little bit.
Yeah. So
and I think that I start to sing a little tune, a little lullaby.
Yeah, perfect. I'm gonna prompt you for maybe a sacrifice. Maybe you're giving up something dear to you to see this stranger's nightmare.
Well, yeah, it's my husband's handkerchief with his
his okay,
his monogram embroidered on it.
Yeah. And maybe add another edge to it. Like when you sing the lullaby, you can sense that it's getting wrapped up in the nightmare and is eventually going to end up being seeped out as well.
Yeah, there's something about this place that's making it harder and harder to recall what it was that drove us here.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, you can move a point back into lover for that sacrifice. Awesome. Amos, how about you? After you pass on the water to Molly, is there a dreamer who attracts your attention?
Yeah, I see a dreamer who has a snake wrapped around their arm that is sinking its fangs into their flesh, and they're trying to struggle free, but they can't.
So it's like a fanged viper, or is it more like a boa constrictor?
I think it's a small snake.
Okay. And so what do you do? Like what do you hear them, kind of whisper out in agony?
I think I hear them whisper like, it bit me. It wasn't supposed to bite me. If I had faith, it wasn't supposed to bite me.
So this like feed into your own fears, that if you were faithful enough, you would be protected from evil, right?
Exactly. I mean that's the beliefs that I was raised with.
Yeah. Do you think you recognize something about this person? Some accoutrement of faith or some kind of dress style?
In fact, I think this person looks familiar to me, because this is someone that I was close with, Elijah, who was a very faithful member of this snake handling group. And yeah, I on the other hand didn't really believe in this faith will protect you from snakes thing. So I tried to make sure there were less dangerous snakes in his basket, but that didn't work out. And that's sort of what I'm seeking redemption for here. So anyway, this sleeper looks a lot like my late friend Elijah.
Yeah, so I think the snake looks up at you, with a, I don't know, like some kind of a hiss, some kind of signal, but like whether it's a stay away or welcome, we'll leave to your conscience or imagination. What do you think you can do to help this person, if whether or not it is Elijah?
I think I am going to run over and try and treat this snake bite as if it was real and happening to an alive person, in whatever ways I know how.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, this seems like a lover to me, right? To help someone in this way, and I think for sure you're getting your snake handler specialty for second die. Yeah, so that's 2 dice, unless you want to go for a scar.
I'll stick with 2 for now.
Okay. Ooh.
Yikes.
Yikes. Okay. Not quite 666, but 666. You know, that's the devil is not interceding quite yet. So, ooh. Let me think. Yeah, I think you know, the snake, you know, who had maybe, you know, had looked up at you to warn you off, and maybe you took that as a good opportunity to remove it entirely, but it just catches you off guard. You know, it's quicker and, like, you know, less prone to snake handling yeah, on this hellbound trail than it should have been, right? It's just too fast. It knows what you're doing, and it strikes at you, and its fangs, you know, embed themselves in your flesh. And I think there's like a moment of panic maybe, but the thing you're really feeling now is sleepy. And I think, you know, you are looking at an empty hammock and thinking, oh, maybe I should just lie down.
Just lie down for a bit.
Lie down
Get
for
some
a bit.
rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I start to settle into this hammock. It's the snake embedded in my arm and wrapping itself around me.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you maybe slip in right underneath Elijah, and you're like in exactly the same kind of pose as he was. Yeah, Joaquin, you're, you know, racing ahead.
Yes, I am racing. Can I?
Yep, go ahead.
I'm racing ahead with Rosa, and she pauses. She sees a little girl that she has some kind of shackles. She cannot move. Who's sleeping, of course. She cannot move, and she's struggling against the shackles. And Rosa goes to her and says, "Poor thing." At the same time, Joaquin, on the corner of his eye, sees a young man, earlier, perhaps a teenager, who has some kind of facial mask that is keeping something inside the mouth of this boy. It looks like this boy is kind of like chewing awkwardly some kind of marbles, or like some kind of glass spheres. And this boy is having this nightmare where he is in a big square, a town square, where there's a market or something, and he tries to go to cellars and buy something important, but every time he tries to speak, one of his teeth pulls out. It's kind of like pulls out, and he cannot express himself. And he then goes to the next cellar, and he tries to speak, and another tooth pulls out, and he's really frustrated because of that. And he kind of like gets it identified, because that's how he was trying to find. Joaquin was trying to find his place in the world, and everywhere he went, people would reject him, and therefore he was always the outsider.
So do you think Joaquin can intervene to help this nightmare abate, or are you kind of being caught up yourself?
If that is okay with you, I mean, you can tell me. But I think that he is fixed on the objective, and he goes to Rosa, and Rosa kind of like is the one who makes him pause. And Rosa is trying to, remove the shackles from this girl. And then he says, "We need to go. We don't have much time." And then she tries to like convince him not to. And then he says, "Rosa, you mentioned before that you wanted to get away from him. You wanted to be free from him. What did you mean?"
Yeah, so I think she kind of replies from John, for Black John Onassis. "He's the reason I'm here, but I can't leave people behind like this. Helpless children, Joaquin. You're better than that. You can't just go for glory, for a good song. You have to do good while you're on your way."
Didn't you leave a young man behind at some point, Rosa? Did you forget about that? And kind of looks at the kid with the marbles in the hand and in the mouth.
"A child, not a young man. But this is what we're doing now. I'm not talking about the past. I'm talking about what we're doing now."
Yes, I think that this is the time for the roll. I don't know what to roll though.
Yeah, so are you, I guess, trying to like free the child with her, or convince Rosa to?
It's more about Rosa and me. That I want to make it about us, and if she convinces me, then I will also take care of the kid, and okay. If not, then just continue.
Yeah, so I guess you're.
I think it's pride. Like I think this is starting my pride, right? Because like she left me behind, kind of like, and she's more taking care of this girl who doesn't know, and it's hurting my pride.
So it's maybe a little bit selfish, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So let's roll with center, and then you're getting an extra die for pride.
Okay. Roll 2 die, 2-2.
Okay. There you go. So, yeah, I think, she is kind of manipulated, maybe a little bit guiltily by your words, and maybe like a little bit frustrated that you're not helping, or that she's not able to free the girl from her shackles. And eventually, I think she leaves with you, and kind of refuses to look behind her. She's trying to forget what she's doing, and move on. Okay, I think Molly is in probably the only position to intervene for Amos right now. So yeah, I guess maybe you're just walking past, and like there's so many people here. Like, how do you notice Amos? Like, what is different between Amos and all the other sleepers in this carriage?
Yeah, I had been so focused on singing this lullaby that I missed that Amos had fallen into this stupor and laid down to sleep. But I think that I see him. There's all of these restless bodies all around, tossing and turning, crying out. But this birth here, where there's just quiet. And I think that's what I noticed as I'm going up towards the front of the car where Joaquin and Rosa have gone on ahead, and I notice that it's just quiet, and I happen to look down and I see Amos there lying next to this other fellow, and I just like look sort of hurried, like what, oh no, this ain't good. He's I can tell that he's losing his soul to this train. And I think just in an effort to I gotta get him back to his senses. So I'll do whatever I can. I start shaking him, and his canteen that he gave me earlier to soak that rag, I open it up and toss water onto his face, trying to bring him out from this. Shaking him, waking up, trying to wake him up. Amos.
So yeah, I think this is a roll. So I mean, it seems. I mean, is there any particular words that you're using, or anything that might tilt us towards lover or sinner?
I think this is a. I mean, it's a point of human connection. I think is. So is there's not a physical snake, is there?
I mean,
I don't remember if you mentioned, Gray, if there was a physical snake or if it was just like a dream snake.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's a difference in the sleeper car. Yeah.
Certainly,
so yeah.
Amos, while wrapped up in
Fair.
thinking about this situation, like thought he was interacting with a snake.
Then I think that she, as I'm like shaking him and calling out his name, I think I know that he's got his own demons that he has to work through, and he's seeking his own form of redemption on this train. I don't know if it has to do with that church he was wrapped up in or what, but I know that he's got a goal driving him just as much as I do, and I'm not going to let this this hell train take this young man before his time. So I'm as I'm shaking, I think I'm going to say you can't just let this can't let this bad business take you out. You got something you got to do here. You got something that's driving you forward. You've seen tougher shit than this. This is not something that you need to. You're not. You're tougher than this. I guess I don't know that it's a snake, but you're tougher than this poison in your brain. Yeah, I think I'm just trying to because I know that it's at least some amount of it is just in his head.
Yeah. It seems like a lover to me, to hold on to hope, to believe in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Do you think any of your motivations or your specialty are in play?
Not really motivated by love or revenge for this. And I guess it's not really personal grit. I'm just trying to.
I feel like you could make an argument that you're trying to inspire grit and or love in Amos.
I guess I am trying to inspire grit. You know, that's definitely what I'm trying to do.
I mean, like, is this maybe a scene that might be familiar, like waking up someone to get up for a shift in the mine, you know?
Oh yeah, because like I said, that we had several of those miners who lodged at our farm, and that's how we come to hear about Black John and his mistreatment of the workers. We would you know, I would always you know, tell these fellas, you know, it's just hold on a little bit longer. We're working to get people organized. We're just, you know, just gotta hold off a little bit longer so we can to make sure we have enough backing to see this through. You just gotta, you know, suck it up for just a little bit longer. You can make it through. This is bigger than me or you, and it's that same motivation that I'm trying to instill in Amos here.
Okay, so yeah, roll those dice and let's see how this goes. The dice are not a fan. So let me know how this sounds, Gray, in terms of a cost, because obviously we can't leave Amos here. Would a scar make sense in terms of, you know, maybe there's like poison infused in Amos's system that's, you know, hurting him a little bit?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
As a cost, yeah. Okay, so mark a scar and describe how you kind of are finally woken up from your stupor, and maybe there's some signs of that poison going through your systems, or some kind of nightmares still in your head.
All right. So, you know, after all of this pep talking and throwing water on him, you eventually see Amos start to stir and tremble, and you can see him sort of as if he, like, you know, sort of grabs something off his arm and throws it away that you can't see. He sits up. Molly, sorry, I don't know what came over me. And he starts to stand up, and you can see he's a little unsteady on his feet. And
Molly like holds to help and support.
Why, thank you, ma'am.
You seem like you're a mite woozy there.
Oh, well, sort of take a breath to collect myself. You know, I live. See that? Rolls up his sleeves. You can see various bite scars on his arms. I've seen worse. I suppose we'd best carry on.
And I think that I'm gonna pull out from a pocket in my waistcoat a little a tin of snuff. We'll say it's a tin of snuff, and I'll say now this is not something that is necessarily the healthiest thing for a person, but this might help you get your wits about you for what we got coming up ahead. It's and essentially like offering some amount of indulgence in a substance.
Yes, well, good thought. We do what we must, and he takes some with no enjoyment whatsoever. Yeah, normally people might like enjoy or savor the substance. It just business like start some of it and hands the box back to you. Perhaps that'll do the trick.
So let's swing back to Joaquin leading Rosa. You're, I think, well ahead of the others at this stage, and I think you're running into a pair of Pinkertons with this hellhound on a chain leash. So these Pinkertons, I guess, two very kind of nondescript white men of young or middle age, with well-tailored suits, looking very respectable, but the look on their faces is mean and cruel, and the kind of people who know that they can get away with bloody murder because of the power behind them. And the hellhound is a three-headed hellhound, so the full Cerberus, right? Maybe there's three of them. Maybe they need three Pinkertons to hold on to this dog, with three different leashes onto three different necks. And you and Rosa, kind of almost run into these guys. And they are kind of instantly kind of domineering and, looking for you to explain yourselves. Why are you here? Maybe one of them recognizes Rosa from being off duty in the dining car.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this guy? He says to her. What do you say, Joaquin, in response?
I am just taking the señorita to her quarters.
To her quarters, huh? And I guess Rosa, says, yeah, that's what's happening. She's just backing up your story now at this stage. Huh. Well, what's your what room? And show us your pass. Show us your key.
Looks at Rosa.
I think she fumbles with into I don't know, a pocket or a bag she has with this kind of very kind of old-fashioned key with this big plaque on it and a room number. Maybe there's like a sleeper car with some privacy further up for valued employees or whatever. But I think they're like suspicious, and they can't quite prowl around you because there's a big ass hellhound holding them back. But they're definitely like in pack mode, sniffing out weakness. And what have you done to be on this train, mister?
Um, Whew, what have we not done? You, sir, you may not understand what it feels like not to have a home and not to be welcome anywhere. At some point in my life, I decided that if I am not going to be welcome, it will be for a reason. So I started doing everything to not be welcome, even to those kind souls that spared me a smile. I would teach them, because eventually they will betray me. They will not want me around. So I might as well give them a good reason. So I did everything. I took what it wasn't mine, including lives. I was a wanted man in my country, and I would be a wanted man everywhere else.
Okay, yeah. So I guess this sounds like sinner for sure, right? You're I guess proud of your misdeeds, or lying about your misdeeds, or a bit of both. Probably pride, right? A little bit. Or fast talking if it's less true.
No, I don't think it's less true. I think that he had to make the choice. I think that he had no chance against these three. So to submit and say whatever they wanted to hear, and they wanted to hear the truth, so he said the truth. I'm wondering if this would have a cost, though. I wonder if maybe a scar would be Rosa hearing about this and not being so happy about it somehow.
Yeah, it's a harsh scar. Yeah. So roll 2 dice on sinner then.
Wow. Okay. I want to.
Yeah. Okay. 1 and 2. Okay. It works. So yeah, I think they kind of see maybe you're their kind of guy. They might want to recruit you. It's like, oh, he's done things, and they believe you, and yeah, they are all too happy to give you a pass. But yeah, I think maybe you look behind you to just make sure that they're not still suspicious, and they're chatting, and the dog looks at you, but I think it's the look in Rosa's eyes that really kind of push your pain here. That her hand becomes a little bit less gentle, a little bit less willing to follow you wherever you say. Okay, cool. So Molly and Amos, you're making your way through the sleeper car, and you come up against the same 3 Pinkertons, and come on, like the first pair get through with a good story, they're going to give you a hard time, right? It's been a while since they were able to beat someone up without repercussions. But Molly, right, you have your password.
Yeah, which it's unfortunate that that Joaquin and Rosa went on ahead, because we got the easy way through here. And even though Amos is still a little bit, moving maybe a little bit slower than he was before. But we see this three-headed hound, hellhound, snarling and snapping and straining at the leash, and I was going to say, whoa, fellas, this is not to worry. We just need to get through here. We're on some official business. Just need to head up to the front of the train, and I'll say John Onassis sent us with a message we need to pass on to the conductor, and then I'll say that the passphrase for today.
Do you wanna make something up for that? Is it
let's see. Let me find. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Needs to be like some. Here we go. I'll say that the password, the pass for today. Better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven. There we go.
Yeah, cheesy passwords for the win, right? Okay, yeah, I think they the switch from treating you as prey to treating you as someone to be respected, is instantaneous. Their demeanor like turn on a dime, and one of them, maybe the most junior, kind of almost salutes right at the parry, and they lead you through. And again, the dog is less sure about this. It's like sniffing you. One of those heads is sniffing you as you go through. Yeah, I think
still growling even as we move past.
Yeah. Like I could definitely take you. I could eat you in one gulp, puny human. Okay, so I think it's time to fast forward to the conductor. We get to the final carriage before the engine, and we have a showdown with the conductor. So I rolled on the table as usual, and I got the result of someone whose life you took, wielding a gun called Recompense. So I don't know. I guess the question really is who do we think murdered this person while they were alive and sent them to hell?
Agnes, did you say why you're seeking redemption? What you're seeking redemption for?
Yeah, it's about the snake rearranging that I tried to do to save my friend Elijah's life that backfired.
So do you think that this, even though we kind of said in the sleeping car, right, this person you got the snake off reminded you of Elijah? Do you want like this to be Elijah or someone who held you responsible and in some way?
I'm not sure it really makes sense for this guy to be Elijah, but
okay, yeah. So I guess it could be someone else, someone whose life you took in a different way, or maybe it wasn't Amos. Maybe it's unconnected with this.
I know we heard that Joaquin had been taking things that didn't belong to him.
Yeah.
Including lives.
Including lives. Yeah, there was that bit. What do you think, Conan? Do you want this guy to be someone whose life you took?
Sure. I mean, we can turn this into a soap opera where, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. He is the father of Rosa.
Okay. And you killed him in a fit of rage when he insisted that you couldn't see his daughter anymore, or?
Yes, I can. Okay. So should I explain the whole thing now, or as a character, or how do we do this?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the way to do this, right, is for him to reveal his face to you and to say something to you that strikes you in your heart. What does he say to you that kind of explains the backstory, right?
Okay. He says, you will never have her, not even in hell. And I have an idea of what actually happened in the story. I don't know if we want to reveal it now or.
Yeah, I mean, you can always, I guess, do it in a flashback or as an act of charity.
So there's a flashback to this town in like a coastal town, very green everywhere, and that's where both Rosa and Joaquin were raised, and where they fell in love, and where they were not overtly, but secretly seeing each other, until one night Rosa came and said, my father wants to marry me to a rich man. Then Joaquin tells her, this cannot be. Let's run away together. I will, and then Rosa, well, I will wait for you at the docks tonight at this time, and I'm leaving. Come with me. And so what he does is he secretly goes and fast forward is basically he murders the father who wanted to marry her, and that's why he definitely can't stay. And he waits in the evening for Rosa to come, but she never came, and then he left. Let's say also that the father was abusive to her or something. So like there was a reason why Rosa would not see that as totally unacceptable.
Okay, so yeah, and I think he points his revolver directly at your heart. He's about to kill you with this kind of magically or demonically infused gun. What do you do?
I say, how fitting. My murdering you was what started all this. It would be only appropriate if your murdering me would ended. And he again rolled flashback to, he realized that Joaquin murdering this man, it just detonated all the rest of his sins. That was the first of the sins in a very long list after. So it looks like he also wants redemption somehow.
So I guess are you kind of inviting him to kill you, or are you trying to, uncouple the car and kind of do your mission while he does that, or what is your actual action going to be?
Yeah, this looks, I mean, story-wise a bit strange. So maybe Rosa will intervene.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let's see what Molly and Amos are gonna.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess you come across this confrontation. You kind of hear the exchange. You kind of see the patterns of violence begin to emerge again. Amos, what are you gonna do?
I see that we need to get to the other side of this room past the conductor to finish our mission. So I think while he's focused on Joaquin, I am going to try and sneak up on him and sort of strike him down to get to where we need to be.
Okay. And how about Molly? What do you think?
As we walk in, first I'm struck because there's that tenseness in the air. But then I noticed that I recognize this person. This is let's see, it's Ricardo Herrera, the rail baron magnate who was trying to forge an alliance between his rail company and and I know that is because of him that the Pinkertons were brought in to suppress the worker uprising that killed my husband. So I think we need to not only uncouple this car, I think violence is definitely called for.
Okay, so I think maybe let's get Amos to sneak up first and strike from the shadows behind.
All right. So this definitely sounds like Sinner.
Yeah, sneaky attack, dirty deeds. You think specialty or motivation comes in, or
I can't really justify it.
okay. So unless you're going to scar yourself to get a second die.
You could also flashback to a dirty deed in your past that
you could
up
to boost your center. Yeah, you can.
I'm going to take a scar.
Okay. So I guess you can work that into your narration when after you roll the die.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to roll 2 dice. Okay. That is, I think, one success.
Yep. So boost your sinner, and describe how you I guess manhandle or strike down the conductor from behind.
Right. So yeah, I think I just sort of sidle my way around the room while his attention is focused on Joaquin. And once I'm behind him, I grab a large wrench that's hanging on the wall and just swing it right at his head, which is not the sort of thing I normally would have done, because I like to think of myself as a honorable and person who prefers not to use dirty tricks and violence on people. But apparently that's the man I am now, and that is my scar.
Ouch. And Molly, you see Amos kind of strike down this figure from your past. How do you follow up on that attack?
Well, there's one bullet left in this pistol, and I had been intending it for John Onassis. But if it's not going to be Black John, then it's going to be the Rail Baron. So I pull my Derringer, and I'm going to fire from where I stand. I'm going to fire from something of a distance, which might not be the wisest thing, but I'm driven.
Is that like, I don't know, a point of honor, or is that like
it's out of sheer anger. This man represents what, not just he represents the larger forces at work in the world that killed my husband.
Okay. So then this is sinner then? This is just straight up murder?
This is definitely sinner.
Okay. And with a side helping of revenge, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So roll those 2 dice. Ooh, sneaks through.
By a hair.
Yeah. So boost your sinner up, and this is maybe not a mortal wound, but definitely knocks him down and probably takes him out of the fight in any kind of serious way. What does that look like, or what do you say as your second barrel goes off?
I think I say, as I'm aiming, what little aiming can be done at this distance, I say, this is for my husband and for all the other poor souls that your capitalist your capitalist corporations sent to their graves.
Okay, and I think with all of this going on, I think like you said, Conan, Roses maybe was in the act of trying to prevent her father from killing you or whatever. And I think beset on all sides, he snarls out that he's not going to see his daughter be with someone like you? And he points his revolver at her, and like, as she is interceding to stop him from shooting you. So he is just gonna fire at her to kill her, rather than to allow you to have her in his kind of warped sensibility. What do you do?
Well, that's my cue. I guess I will fight him somehow, like physically fight him.
So do you think you're kind of getting in the way of his gunshot, or just kind of pushing Rosa aside, or just like shooting him down before he shoots her? What's the approach here?
Metagaming. Do we have another scene after this?
Well, so I think this is probably our last real scene. After this, it'll be like the mission is over and we're wrapping up. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to like, to end your character's arc at this point, would like make sense if you wanted to.
Okay. I grabbed the hand of the gun and point it again at my chest and say, "You're." I lost my words in English. You're. It is me who you have a problem with. It is between you and me. Fight me. Like I pointed to myself, right?
Yeah. So you've grabbed his gun and like.
I haven't like jumped, no, but like actually like do it a bit more.
So do you think this is? Do you want to make a roll on Lover for this, or do you kind of want to just have him murder you before he is himself killed? What do you think is a good wrap up?
Well, I do have an idea for the very last scene, so I will try to get away with it. But if I fail,
okay,
then I fail.
Yeah, I guess you can roll and see.
Yes.
So yeah, it's Lover, which is you've only got a score of 1, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to see if you can add in,
I guess it's again pride. It's like, hey, it's between you and me. Don't ignore me.
And you could also take a scar to roll a 3rd die if you wanted to, and why not?
And why not? Maybe this is a moment where I reveal that it was me who killed him. Does it make sense?
I mean, if you killed him from behind or in an underhand fashion, maybe he doesn't know.
No, it's about Rosa, right? That Rosa doesn't know that I killed him.
Okay, that Rosa doesn't know. Yeah, you could do that for sure.
Yeah, I will. Let's do that. Like she's even more doubtful now because I killed her. Let's say it's her stepfather, not her. No, it's her father.
Her father, yeah. So you're saying like you can kill me just like I killed you or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so roll 3 dice and look for 1s.
What?
There you go. There's a 1.
Nice.
So what does that look like? What does success look like here?
Well, he pauses and it's enough for him to doubt, and right before he pulls the trigger, maybe he gets shot by the others, or he gets subdued by the others. But he was definitely going to shoot, but maybe he shoots and like he misses by a very short distance, and I also gets Joaquin also gets a scar, so like physical scar as well.
Okay, awesome.
But just to make sure, Joaquin never flinched. He wanted to to die there.
Yeah, maybe I guess Rosa just found out that you killed her father, so I don't think she's going to be intervening. But there, maybe Molly or Amos's actions puts off his aim. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I think that is the end of our scenes. A successful heist. You have overcome the conductor to get away with the prize, the contraband angel wings. So I guess the last thing to do maybe is to give your characters an epilogue, some kind of quick scene that shows us what's in their future, and this can be like in the minutes or hours following this, or days or months or years later. It's completely up to you. So let's go left to right, because I guess I want to see maybe Joaquin's epilogue will be the best ending. So let's start with Molly and see her epilogue.
Yeah. So in that almost blind rage when Molly shot Senor Herrera, she almost felt her own soul slipping away in a certain sense, and she after they uncouple, she's almost in a haze as Joaquin subdues the conductor, and we uncouple the train car and unload the crate containing the angel wings. We go about our separate ways, and I'm just still in a haze as I say my farewells to these folks. With the wings, the set of wings that I took, I placed them on my husband's grave, but something in me, there's something in me that turned dark and turned acrid and turned sulfurous on that train, and I know that I will not be joining my husband at the pearly gates.
Awesome. And how about Amos? How do we close with him?
All right. So we see Amos with his trusty notebook at a rural crossroads with the crate with the angel wings next to him. And he's in the midst of performing some sort of ritual. And he says into the air, "Look, I have something here. Whoever might be listening, I want to make a deal. You can have this crate, you can have my soul, but you're going to bring Elijah back."
Nice. And lastly, Joaquin.
Yeah, similarly, we see a scene where it's just Rosa and Joaquin next to this crate with two pairs of wings, because as far as I remember, there were 6, right? So it's 2 each. So there are 2 pairs of wings. Joaquin hands one pair of wings to Rosa and tells her, you remember that evening when I told you that we could run away, that you didn't need to be living, you could leave your father, and that you didn't need to be married to a man that you didn't love. Do you remember? That night I went back to your home, and there I saw that I overheard your father saying that he knew of our plan and that he was going to capture you and force you to stay in, and not come with me. He had given the order to other men, to the guards. I broke into his office and I murdered him. He was bad to you, and I didn't want that life for you anymore. And then I went back and to the place where we had arranged a meeting to leave, but you never came. I've done everything to try to be with you. I always dreamed to have this second chance, but now is your time to make the decision again. He takes his wings and he breaks his own wings. You can go to heaven and live a comfortable afterlife, or you can come with me to hell. It is your choice. And I think that's how it ends.
Yeah, that's where we cut for sure. Okay, awesome. I'm gonna stop the recording and we'll do a quick debrief. So thanks for watching.